Good afternoon, everyone. It's Rob here again. Been driving for about just over an hour. It's about 40 minutes from Lake's entrance to this track that I've got to, and it's a further hour along an unsealed track. Just dirt, gravel track, nothing exciting. Just stopping here to come and assess this. Just got some potholes. Just wanted to see how deep they were. Now it looks like the bridge is actually concreted, so I should be okay once I hit the concrete, as long as I get over those few potholes. The situation yesterday where I had to turn back, it wasn't a concreted bridge and the water was covering the whole road, so I wasn't willing to take that risk yesterday. And today I think I can avoid those potholes, and once I hit that concrete I should be okay. So this is just a little crossing here for a creek that goes underneath. Very nice spot this, and very quiet. So hopefully we can navigate this little bridge and continue on to the campground. Okay, let's get the car going and see how we go. According to my GPS, we've still got 35 minutes. So it's not too bad. Alright, we'll try and navigate across this. Not bad. We'll try and avoid the potholes best we can. And there we go. See, that wasn't too bad at all. Managed to get across that little crossing there that just had a few potholes full of water. Now I'll just continue along. Another 30 minutes of driving along this gravel track, but we should be able to get through. I think that would have been the hardest part. Somebody did say in a review when I was looking up this campsite that they couldn't get through on a two-wheel drive because of water covering roads. So I hope that was all they were talking about, and there's not another water crossing ahead. But look, most people said two-wheel drive accessible, so I hope these last couple of days we've had some sun out. Whatever water is on the road, I really do hope it's all dried out. Alright, so after a few questionable moments driving along that track, we finally managed to get here. As for getting back, tomorrow we'll sort that out on the way. Hopefully we don't have any issues going back. Single lane coming into the campgrounds and for most of the track coming here, so I hope I don't run into anyone and I have to reverse, or if they've got a four-wheel drive they can do the reversing, they've got more power in their car. So that's probably one of the only issues coming to this campground. Would be better to have a four-wheel drive, but I got here in a two-wheel drive, so it can be done. Just a little tip, if you're coming along the tracks, just follow the wheel tracks of other cars that have been in front of you. Usually they've diverted around potholes and the places you don't really want to go into, wet ground or mud. So that's just a little tip I usually use every time I go along these unsealed roads. Alright, so I've pulled most of my stuff out of the car. I've just got my 3-man tent, the tarp again, same setup, my esky, my food and drinks. I've pulled out my firewood and kindling. Just gonna have a quick drink first, and this place supposedly has some falls around, some waterfalls, so before I lose some light and get all this set up and the fire going, I'm gonna go down for a quick walk and see what it's like. Okay, so I'm approaching the falls now. Been walking for 5 to 10 minutes along this track. Information board up the top says it's a 2-kilometer loop and it takes about 40 minutes to do that, so It's not too bad of a walk. Somebody's kindly written how many steps there are down to the base, and it's 135. So thanks to that person for writing 135 steps in Sharpie on the information board. Now, we just come out to this rocky area down here. Let's see if we can. Alright, so water's pooled all up here. Luckily these rocks aren't wet because they're covered in mold, and I know, or moss, and I know if they were wet I'd definitely be going over. Alright, just have a quick look over here. Alright, we've got a mini waterfall there. Very loud, I'm not sure if you can hear me. So that's just the mini waterfall we've got there. I was just reading the information board up the top. It did say that this fall actually did have a 20-meter drop, so that must just be just a mini one. It's not actually the falls I'm after. So I'll continue along the track for a little while and see how far along I have to go until I see the main waterfalls. The path just veered off to the left hand side there, indicating this is the way to the base of the falls. So I've hit the steps, and supposedly somebody's taken their time to count each one being 135. So the walk's a little bit difficult. There's no railing here, so if you're a little bit uneasy on your feet, unsteady on your feet, maybe just take your time or have someone help you, because I don't want anyone falling over here. It's pretty remote, and getting emergency services into remote areas, it's very difficult. You don't want to have to get the air helicopter or something like that out, but just take your time with these steps. There's no rush. I don't think this place is too well known, so you're not going to have hundreds of people behind you saying hurry up, you're holding me up. It's not going to be like that. Everyone's usually pretty patient in Oz. I've never had it or seen while camping, walking downstairs to waterfalls. Everyone's pretty good. They're not going to tell you to hurry up. Everyone just wants to see the attraction and take a few photos and move on. So, continuing along the path, yeah, these steps, they're all different heights, different lengths, so just pay close attention going down, especially now. At the moment they're pretty wet. The ground's very wet. So just take your time as needed, and let's go check out the falls. I've reached the bottom of the falls, and I can already see the river running through and hear the crashing of the waterfall. So let's just go around this bend. Oh wow. So these are the falls we've got here. See if I can get into a better spot. So it's coming down pretty hard and fast at the moment. In New South Wales, there's been a lot of flooding. Queensland, a lot of flooding. And I guess this is one of the rivers that all that water's going out to. I'm not sure if it's usually like this kind of pace coming through here, but you can see the water is really coming down hard and fast. Nice little swimming hole. Just reading up on the place before I came here, people did say in summer this place is a great place to swim, and I don't doubt that at all. Just at the moment, that water's coming down a little bit too fast for my liking, and even the creek just over here, I'll go around and have a look at it. It seems to be flowing pretty fast, so you don't want to get sucked down the little river or creek. You just don't know what's under the water. Got some really nice footage there. It's later on in the day and the sun, it's hitting the water at a perfect angle there. So I hope it does show justice to what it actually does look like. It's a little bit chilly. The water is a little bit chilly, but from coming upstream and from those kind of mountainous areas, that's expected. All right, I'm gonna head back up to the top now. We'll go get the camp set up, get the fire going, and hopefully that's not too hard to do tonight because the ground is pretty wet here, but we'll do our best to get it done. All right, so I'm just gonna set up my tent here. I'll get it set up. Once it's set, I'll move it over to this grassed area just over there to my left, and then we'll get the tarp thrown over the top of it. I'll whip through this video, I'll try and fast forward it again, and then we can get the fire going. Alright, so I've set up my tent, tarp over the top, not too far from where I'm going to have my fire going tonight. I've got out my sleeping gear, the sleeping bag, pillow, and tonight I'm going to be using my blow-up mattress. So we'll just run through that one again. Just unravel it, open up the other end of the package that it comes in, and that's got your air sac in it. Just hook that into your inflate tab of your sleeping pad and blow into it from about 30-40 centimeters away. And then we just give it a roll. Alright, one side done. Unplug. Close the cap so none of the air comes out. Just flick it around and do the same thing. Unplug the inflate tab, put in the end of the pump, and just blow into it from 30 centimeters away. And there you go. That's all there is. The air mattress is good to go. So I've just hopped in the tent here. I've had to actually pull the tarp off halfway and open the door, because once you put the tarp on, it really diminishes the light, and I need as much light as I can get right now. So I've just set up my sleeping pad. My sleeping bag, I just unraveled it, threw it on top of my sleeping mat, and just obviously threw my pillow on at the end where I'm sleeping. With these sleeping mats, you can actually put them inside your sleeping bag if you so choose to do. I haven't actually tried that yet. I haven't really experienced weather cold enough for me to do that, but I'm sure once it starts to get colder, I'll probably do that. The only thing is, if I do that, dew's probably gonna make the bottom of my sleeping bag wet, so I'll probably lay a tarp down either underneath the tent or inside the lining of the tent where I'm gonna actually be sleeping. That's one of those things I'll be doing in the future. Just have to play it by ear there. Okay, gonna get this fire started now. I've dug out what I could from the fire pit, so it's pretty deep and it's very damp, so let's use a couple of these fire lighters. When I like to start a fire, I like to try and clear away all the other embers, especially if they're wet. It makes it a lot harder to start a fire. So let's see how we go getting this one going, and then we'll start some cooking. Alright, so I've been trying to get this fire going for a while. It's not doing too great, but that's alright. It's been a pretty big day today, so I'll probably end up having an early one tonight. And it's starting to get really chilly, so I want to get into the warm bed. But anyway, I want to get into this cooking because I'm pretty hungry. So just going to cook one of these, again, pre-packaged recipe based kind of things. You put it all together, add their sauce, and it should work out pretty good. Anyway, I'm not following the recipe to a T because, like I said the other day, these are serving 4 people, and I'm not cooking for 4, and I'm probably not going to eat for 4 either. So I'll get my heat on. Just heat up a little bit of oil in the pan. A little bit of light. And the recipe asks for half an onion for 4 people. I've just chopped up a whole one. So not doing it to a T, but I'm not going to waste half an onion. I'll just throw all that in. Now the good thing about these double burner stoves, seeing it's a pasta it's a pasta mix, a beef bolognese ragu, I can actually have my pasta cooking on the burner right next to it. So I'll just brown that up and then I'll get to the next step. Alright, so I've browned my onion. The next steps are pretty easy. It's just adding the beef mince, which I'll put half a serve of, and adding tomato paste and water, which I'll also do half a serve of. So I'll add that in. says not to break it up, so I'll just leave it there for a minute. Interesting to see how this will turn out. Once I get the pasta going and put it all together, it should look pretty good. Just gonna add the other ingredients that I mentioned before. So, going by the recipe pack, tomato paste, 140 grams, so I'll halve that. That's roughly half. What else was it? 60 ml of water. So I'll put just a dash of water in. And don't go overboard, like I usually do. And the pack. So, I don't have a pair of scissors with me, gonna use my teeth. No, that's not gonna work. I have to use a knife. Note to self, bring scissors next time. And I'll just pour that in. And give it a bit of a mix. All I have to do is bring this to a simmer. But seeing as I'm so productive, I've boiled my water. And I'll just put a handful of this Coles brand fettuccine pasta. It'll be all from the same place. Just a bit of a guess there on how much to put in. So hopefully this turns out okay. Now just an update on the videos. I've really been enjoying making them. So once I get these uploaded, I hope you guys also enjoy them. And if you do, give it a like, give it a watch, share it around. Even if you feel like it, give it a subscribe. And if you got any suggestions for me to do, in future videos, definitely give me a mention in the comments, and I'll be reading them. So I hope people have got something that they'd like to see in the future. And like I said in the past, put it out there. I'm willing to consider anything, so just let me know and I'll give anything a shot. Okay, so I've drained my pasta out. I'm just gonna do the lazy man's method, tip my pan into my pot, and then just eat it straight out of the pot. But if you're cooking for one, you can do that. It smells pretty good. So I'll just tip that in there. Oh geez, that's a lot of food. That's what it looks like. I'll give it a bit of a stir and see how it turns out, and a bit of a taste test. I mean, the other two that I've had while I've been camping have been pretty good. So let's give this a try. It's not too bad actually. For a package sauce, I can't complain. Yeah, so I'm giving a thumbs up to that Master Foods meal. So all three of them I've given a thumbs up to. There's not one yet that I've said is no good. So if you're thinking about something to do takeaway camping that's just not your basic sausages or hamburgers, you know, maybe try and buy some of those meal packs and do something out of the ordinary. Because to be honest, that's what I usually do, just buy your standard sausages, hamburgers, etc. And I've just done something out of the ordinary, and it's actually turned out to be a hit. It takes a little bit more time, but it's actually, you know, a little bit of fun as well. Failing, trying to measure stuff, trying to measure out everything. But at least at the end of the day, it turns out good. So just heading to bed now. Gonna have a bit of an early one tonight. I've packed just about everything into the car. Even my cooking stuff. I'll clean all that up tomorrow. I was just reading before I came here. Somebody reported on the app that I use that there's wild dogs in the area. Whether that's true or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not willing to take that risk. So I just packed everything into the car, food, anything that could attract wild animals. So look, I just take it with a grain of salt. I'm not 100% sure, so I can't confirm or deny it, but just to be on the safe side, I just put it in the car and I'll do clean up tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It was pretty chilly last night. Woke up a couple of times throughout the night and had to throw on my jumper again. But got through the night, didn't hear any wild dogs, so no issues with that. Just gonna hop up now and go and cook some breakfast before we do that loop walk around the falls. Alright, so I've just finished making my breakfast. I just made a coffee. I can't wreck this. It tastes fine. And I just made a toastie. Just quick, easy, simple. Don't have to put much effort in. Just don't do what I do and burn one side. But it's still edible. So I'll get this cooked up. Then I'll get all my stuff packed up, and then we'll do this walk. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a pretty warm day today. I was listening to the local radio yesterday on the way here, and I think it said it was about 24 degrees, and tomorrow's going to be 26, so I've got a couple of hot days ahead of me. Warm to hot days. But yeah, overnight, I felt some of the drinks in my car, it felt like they were in the fridge, so it really did dip overnight. Must have got to about 4 to 6 degrees Celsius, I'd say. But yeah, let's get that walk out of the way. We'll try and head to the top of the falls today. We'll see if we can actually get there. Yesterday, the signage wasn't that great, so I ended up going down to the base. I'll try and work out how to get down, or get up to the top, sorry. It shouldn't be too difficult. I think it's just walking across that rock face that we initially came to and kind of diverting around to one side. It's one of those see how we go kind of things, because like I said, there weren't many signs. It's a beautiful day today. It's just blue skies, Very calm day. Barely any wind. The trees are just barely moving. So it's perfect conditions for going bushwalking, sightseeing, camping, pretty much anything. When you get weather like this, just snare that and go out and do something if you can. Okay, so I'm just at the top of the falls now, at that initial sign that we came to yesterday. It's only got really a sign pointing to the base of the falls and then another track that goes for 3.6 kilometers. So my guess is this rock face here, it's one of those things we're going to have to navigate down and go about 50 meters that way. So let's see how we go doing this. Not too keen jumping over rocks and over rivers, but it doesn't seem to be flowing too fast. So let's give it our best shot and see how far we can go. It shouldn't be too hard to get over. Alright, so across the first little piece of river. Now it's a little bit more tricky here. This part looks a little bit tricky to cross. If the water wasn't running so fast, it could probably be done quite easily. I think my best bet is to try and get over to that side. So I'll just try and find another part to cross. I'll have to backpedal here and try and find another part higher up to cross at. Okay, cool. So the other part that I could see from where I was earlier that I was thinking about crossing at, it seems to be just not very safe at the moment. With all those floods coming down from New South Wales and Queensland, this river, it's just running a little bit too quick for my liking. Probably in summer, or at times where there's not flooding and a lot of rain, you could cross over here. It seems like it wouldn't be too hard. It's only about between this rock face and the one just over there, about 2.5 to 3 meters. So as long as it's not gushing like it is now, you could possibly make it across. I'll try one more time. If I can't get across, that's fine. I'll just head down to the base because it's a great view. I don't have to see it from the top to get an idea of what it's like. It's just it's one of those places you see it from any angle, even a photo of it, and it's beautiful. So I just decided to stop on the rocks, take a seat, have a quick drink. You know, it's a little bit loud, the water rushing past, but it's still very peaceful. just anywhere around water, I always find it's very peaceful. Running creeks, all the frogs, and the views, especially here. The camera footage, it probably doesn't do it justice. Yeah, it doesn't do justice of how good it actually is. It's one of those things where it's better in person. And that always seems to be the case. Photos and videos are one thing, but when you actually see it in person, it's 100 times better. So if you can work out where this location is, I definitely recommend coming and checking it out. Just at the falls, one last time before I leave this great area. Once again, going from the speed of the water coming over those rocks up the top. The water's coming down very fast. And so leading into that river, that's also coming out pretty fast. Oh. Now, the water's very cold. You'd have to be pretty keen to jump in. I wouldn't like to swim in this, but you know, if I ever come back in summer, get the opportunity to come back in summer, I wouldn't mind coming down, swimming over to the falls and just having a little bit of a relax in the water. You know, bring a few mates down, just have a couple of drinks, just drink responsibly when swimming. Don't want to have any accidents. But yeah, definitely a place, if you can find or work out where this is, do consider coming here. Put it on your bucket list. There's plenty of waterfalls around Victoria. There are ones closer to Melbourne. This one's, including the gravel track, yeah, 5 hours plus, so it's a bit of a hike. But if you're heading over to the east of Victoria, definitely worth it. In terms of waterfalls, plenty around Victoria. Lorne, they're probably the most well-known and popular. The Erskine Falls that they've got over there. I hope to do a video in Lorne at some point. Just finding the time to get there. Unfortunately, around Lorne there aren't many campgrounds, so, well, free campgrounds. You have to drive about an hour from town. But we have stayed at campgrounds in the past, my friends and myself, but we had to actually, well, we've gone to the free one and we've had to pay, which I'm not really a fan of doing, but it's just one of those things that local councils and the parks group has started to do, seeing as they have to maintain facilities, vehicles, people leaving trash around. You know, they have to consider all of that, and unfortunately they pass the fee on to us. Just back at the start of the track and at the campgrounds. Now, the campgrounds aren't too big. We've got a fire pit over here and a little camping area, table, chair. There were just people here a little bit earlier on, so I didn't want to start filming while they were camping. Might not appreciate being filmed. Probably set up another camp there. The board said there were 4 campsites here. Looks like only 2 have fire pits. So this is where I stayed last night. Whoa, goanna. The big boy there, hiding under the table. Whoa, let's see if he climbs up the tree. Let's see what he does. He's a big fella, he's about 1 meter long. Well, usually whenever I come to a campsite, I've never actually seen a goanna. So let's see if he climbs up the tree. He actually is. Oh, wow. Where is he? He's hiding around the other side. Oh, there he is. Those sharp claws, you wouldn't want to come in contact with him. Wow. That's actually really cool. Caught that all on vid as well. I wasn't expecting to come to the campsite and there'd just be a goanna or a snake or anything, any kind of animal just hiding under the table. The only thing I've really seen of so far has been birds and a couple of tiny lizards. So yeah, there's our friend, the goanna, at this campsite. About 1 meter long, but very timid. As soon as he heard me coming, he just took off, as you saw on the video. So my tarp should be dry now. That should be well and truly dry. I've had it on top of the car. Still drying out my boots. So that's a work in progress. My towel and a couple of washers, which are very dry. So anyway, we'll get this all packed up. I'll have a quick drink and then we'll head off to the next campsite. Hoping to go somewhere that probably has a shower, somewhere I can wash up. I'll just have to hop onto my app and have a bit of a look